Today at Customized Creations, we're going to be doing a small review on the Springfield Armory XDS 45. This is the 3.3-inch model. I don't have all the specs with me on it and everything as far as the width, length, and weight and things like that, so we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's first get into what everybody likes to see first, which is shooting. First off, this is a customer's gun, and he has got a rubber grip on it here. Looks like a Packmeyer grip. One of the slip-on ones. Personally, it makes it feel a little fat to me. It does give the grip a little bit of squish to it and everything. But as far as the gun itself, it does feel really narrow. It is, obviously, they're touting it as one of the slimmest 45s out there. It definitely is a narrow, slim gun. So we'll shoot it here in a minute. Misfire there. Got a primer strike on it. Looked like a pretty good primer strike. So we'll save that one and we'll try loading it again in a minute and see what happens. Alright, so let's try that one again. There we go again. So, I don't know, this thing's got a pretty good dent in it, so I'm just going to have to chalk this one up and say that this looks like it would be a malfunction on the ammo, not the gun itself. So, this one here has some triangulated sights. Again, I don't have my cameraman today, so I'll show you guys a picture of this later. We just put these sights on. It's got a really big dot in the front that's orange, and then we got a triangle, diamond. Then we have the diamond, small white diamonds in the back, and these are night sights. So for me, I kind of like these things. They were actually pretty good. Daily carry gun, something like that, definitely nothing that I would say would be a range-only gun. They're too big for that. But lining them up, it was quick to see, and as far as the gun being accurate, I'll show you the target in a minute on that too. The gun was actually fairly accurate for what it is. A small little barrel like that, I think it did pretty good. Weight on the gun, it balances pretty good. It doesn't really seem really nose heavy or top heavy that much once you get a full loaded magazine in it. The trigger's not too bad on it. This one had some precision Springer parts installed before we saw it, so I don't know 100% what's been done to it, but the trigger seems pretty decent for what it is. This did have the recall done on it, so that was taken care of also. But just size-wise on it, I mean, compared this to a lot of the smaller guns that are out there, we've done some Diamondback, the DB9s, the SIG 290, the SIG 238, and just smaller guns like that. And this is, really, I mean, if you want a 45, you want some punch and everything, this gun here is, really small, it's slim. I think it'd be pretty comfortable to carry. I don't have a holster for it. Like I said, this is a customer gun. We're doing some sighting in on it, so I'm kind of just doing a small review on it. But so far, I mean, what I see with it, XDs aren't my thing. I'm not really into them just because of the ergonomics and everything with it, but they seem like a pretty nice gun. And if I had to pick something, in a 45 range, I would look at one of these. I think I'd be pretty happy with it. Obviously, we'd probably do some modifications on it to make it more up to what I would like to have, my standards and everything, but out of the box, I don't know what the stock trigger's like, so that's my only concern here, to be able to give you an honest review of it. I don't know what a stock trigger is like on this yet, so I still think, even though he had some parts put in here for the trigger and everything, I think there's a lot of room for improvement on this trigger still. So it's not a very bad trigger. It's not a competition trigger by any means, and we don't want that for a carry gun anyways, but you still could probably do a little bit more smoothing and lightening up the trigger to make it a little bit nicer. Okay guys, I loaded it up again. We're going to shoot a couple more rounds through it and everything. I also got some in my pocket. I only have one mag for it here, so again, very slim. I'm really kind of liking this gun, the slimness of it. Other than that, it's still kind of XD-ish to me, and I'm not a real big fan of the XDs. But let's shoot some rounds, and you can just watch and see what you think. trigger would take a little bit for me to get used to. It doesn't seem too bad. Again, I'm not a huge striker fired person. It's definitely no comparison to an M&P after you do the work to it. Again, this had a little bit of trigger work done to it. I don't know 100% what was done to it, if it's just springs were replaced or what, but I was told that the precision parts were put in it and everything for it, so. Our camera moved a little bit. One of my rounds must have came back, one of the casings. Again, you know, I like the gun, and a couple of things I can say from putting a few rounds through it now is I'm seeing all my casings seem to go from a 12 o'clock standing point, they're going to about 2 o'clock, so they're going forward and to the right there. I do have some that are farther in like the 4 or 5 o'clock range as well, but a majority of the pile of them seem to be sitting at about a 2 o'clock area, so this seems to eject them forward and to the right of you. I do feel the recoil in this thing. It is pretty snappy. I feel it in the back webbing of my hand here, and that might be because I'm not used to this grip safety on here. It does have this slip-on rubber grip too, so again, I don't think I would necessarily like that myself. The extended mag on it, it gives you a little bit better grip in your hand as far as gives your pinky someplace to go, but I just don't like the way it just seems like it goes straight on down, and it doesn't seem to, it meshes with everything on the actual frame itself as far as cosmetic-wise and everything, but I think it could be a little bit better functionality-wise if they were going to do something a little bit more like you see on the M&Ps and some of the Glocks with the Pierce extensions. Other than that, though, I mean, it's got a nice high trigger guard up here, so you can get your fingers up underneath there pretty well. I don't really see any need to modify that like we do on the Glocks and M&Ps and stuff. Just this back, the pain I'm feeling might just be from this grip safety. Like I said, I'm not used to that, and I'm not really fond of that anyways. But all in all, it's a 45. It's really, really small. So if you're going to be looking at a small, slim gun, the extension does make the gun a little bit bigger and kind of defeats the purpose of it and everything, but it does give you a few more rounds. So those of you that are 45 addicts and you got to have that big caliber and everything, you might want to take a look at these. I still personally myself, I think I would rather have a 40 caliber or even a 9mm and something this small. I'm going to get more firepower out of it as far as capacity-wise on it, and I'm going to be able to stay even smaller yet with it as well. The thing that I would be concerned with this, and I would like to actually have one of these guns and really test it and put it through the ringer and everything to see how well this thing is going to hold up. The stresses that are going to be involved with this thing being so thin, I don't really see any problem areas. I haven't really gone through this gun 100% yet and taken it apart and done anything with it yet, but it seems to be a pretty well-made gun and everything, but being this small, the recoil that I feel out of it and everything, I'd just be curious to see how long something like this is going to hold up. Obviously, I would say this isn't a gun that you're going to buy and take to the range and want to shoot all the time. Even though it wasn't that bad, I probably wouldn't steer you away from wanting to do that with it, but there's a lot more comfortable guns to shoot than this one here if you're going to look for a range gun and everything. So this is strictly, to me, probably going to be a self-defense gun. If you're buying a first gun and everything, obviously you might be looking at smaller calibers to start with, just so you have more controllability with yourself with it. But all in all together, this gun, for somebody that's on a budget, probably wouldn't be too bad of a gun for self-defense and have something that they can go to the range with and have some fun as well with it. Again, I've said it numerous times, I'm not a big XD person just because of the ergonomics and everything, but these things are here, they're slim, it's got a nice weight to it. I mean, obviously it's a 45, so it's got to have some weight to it and everything to be able to control the 45 round capabilities. But, it's not a bad gun. For 45s that are out there that are small, I'd have to say that, this would probably be something I would definitely be looking at, if I was going to, have to carry a 45 for myself. So, Again, we'll get some more information for this for you. I'll show you the sites, some pictures and stuff like that, some still images later on in the video here. So stay tuned. Who knows? I might pick up one of these and do a long-term torture test on it or something like that. So